The year is 2024, and I've come a long way from my roots. My name is Leroy Johnson, a former gangbanger and big-time drug dealer. I grew up in the hood and fought my way from the bottom to the top. Today, I own 4 thriving food trucks, stationed strategically in the south, north, east, and west sides of town, earning between $200,000 to $300,000 a year. In the midst of building my food truck empire, I met my beautiful wife. It happened on a hectic day as I managed my first food truck. She approached, scanning the menu with a curious yet undecided look. Captivated by her beauty, I felt compelled to help her choose something worth her money. I offered her a few samples, and she settled on the American burger, which I couldn't help but give her for free. As I prepared her food, we chatted, and I was quickly drawn to her charm and wit. I gathered the courage to ask for her number, and to my delight, she gave it to me. Later that night, after closing up shop, I called her. We spent hours talking, our connection deepening with each passing moment. We agreed to meet again for lunch the following day. When she arrived, I was ready. I had planned something special, a trip to an upscale restaurant up north. As we drove in my BMW, classic slow jams played softly, setting the mood. Her elegant hand caught my eye, and I gently intertwined my fingers with hers. At the restaurant, a valet took my keys, and we were escorted to our table. This was no ordinary venue. It was a 5-star establishment that seamlessly blended fine dining with live entertainment. That night, local comedians graced the stage, filling the room with laughter. As we sat, I pulled her chair out like a true gentleman, pushing it in as she settled into her seat. I joined her at the table, and we ordered our meals. As we waited, the anticipation of our culinary delight was matched only by the joy of each other's company. With our meals on the way, I couldn't help but feel grateful for this unexpected turn in my life. It felt like a fresh start, a new chapter filled with possibilities. As we dug into our delicious food, we shared stories of our past, dreams for the future, and the challenges we overcame to be where we are today. I could see how our backgrounds shaped us, and it only drew me closer to her. Each laugh we shared seemed to erase the scars of my past. As we finished our meals, I felt an undeniable chemistry between us, a sense of comfort that I hadn't experienced in years. With a mixture of excitement and nerves, I took her hand, knowing that this was just the beginning of something beautiful. As we stepped outside into the cool night air, I felt a sense of freedom and excitement that seemed to mirror the twinkling city lights around us. I opened the door for her like a true gentleman, and as we settled into the car, our laughter filled the air, hinting at the joy of the night ahead. With the music playing softly in the background, we drove through the city, our hearts light and full of anticipation for what the night would bring. I found a scenic overlook and parked the car, wanting to share the beauty of the city with her. As we stepped out, I wrapped my arm around her shoulders, feeling a mix of excitement and serenity. The year 3 weeks into dating Jeanette, I planned an exciting evening at one of the hottest nightclubs in the city. I pulled up in my BMW, and when Jeanette emerged, she took my breath away. Dressed in all black, her hair was styled to perfection, her eyelashes fluttered like butterflies, and her lipstick was a shade of red that was both bold and mesmerizing. As I looked at her, my mind wandered to the idea of how lucky I was to have someone so captivating by my side. I greeted her with a kiss and opened the car door for her, ensuring she was comfortable before closing it gently. The journey to the club was filled with anticipation and an electric excitement. Coming from the hood, I had always known how to hustle and make money, which meant I often enjoyed the comforts of VIP treatment rather than mingling on the dance floor with everyone else. Tonight, Jeanette would experience that luxury for the first time. Upon arriving, we handed the doorman our VIP reservation, and the security escorted us to our exclusive section. I had invited Chris and Sean, 2 friends from my past who had also turned their lives around, to join us. Tonight was about celebrating life and moments of transformation, and we planned to make the most of it. The bartender approached with a bottle of Hennessy, housed in an ice-filled container that glowed with vibrant, pulsating lights, setting the perfect mood for the night. We ordered a round of beers for the guys and poured shots of Hennessy for the ladies. The music pounded, and the dance floor was a sea of motion, as lively as ever. As the night progressed, we found ourselves in a delightful buzz, laughter echoing through our group. Jeanette and I took to the dance floor, losing ourselves in the music as we danced the night away. As the club wound down and the lights dimmed, we decided the night was still young, and headed to IHOP for some late-night breakfast. We settled into a booth, the aroma of pancakes and eggs giving us comfort, and chatted over our meals. Suddenly, commotion erupted from the back of the restaurant, escalating quickly into a full-blown fight. Chaos ensued, and a chair was launched across the room, narrowly missing our table. Instinctively, Chris, Sean, and I stood up, ready to restore order. Jeanette had never seen this side of me, the one that refused to tolerate disrespect. I approached one of the instigators. Grabbing him from behind, I placed my right arm around his neck and my left arm around his head, and slowly applied pressure until he passed out. And then I slowly released pressure as he fell to the ground unconscious. I looked at Jeanette, who seemed both shocked but impressed and turned on from my actions. Chris says to the ladies, "Let's go." Jeanette and I hopped in my BMW with the music blasting that R. Kelly Bumping Grime remix, and as I'm swerving through traffic, Jeanette decided that she didn't want to go home alone, so I suggested the hotel. Stay tuned for Chapter 3. As we stepped into the hotel, the ambiance shifted to one of sophistication and intrigue, amplifying the adrenaline of the evening. The receptionist greeted us with a smile as we checked in, and Jeanette's excitement was palpable as she took in the luxurious environment around us. As Jeanette and I stepped into our lavish hotel suite, her eyes widened with wonder at the opulence surrounding us. The room was a masterpiece of elegance, adorned with plush furniture and soft lighting that cast a warm, inviting glow. A massive window offered a breathtaking view of the city skyline, its twinkling lights mirroring the excitement in the air. As Jeanette turned on the radio to 107.5, a smooth R&B melody filled the room, setting the perfect mood. H-Town's Knockin' Da Boots played softly, harmonizing with the rhythm of our hearts. I reached for the chilled champagne waiting for us, its bubbly promise of celebration. With a flourish, I opened the bottle, feeling the cool mist kiss my skin. From my pocket, I retrieved a carefully rolled blunt, a reminder of a leisurely drive in my BMW earlier that day. As I lit it, the aromatic smoke curled around us, mingling with the effervescent sweetness of the champagne. I poured a generous sip for Jeanette, holding the glass to her lips, and watched as a playful drop escaped, rolling down her chin. With a flick of her wrist, Jeanette dimmed the lights, letting the soft glow of the city outside illuminate our sanctuary. She moved with an irresistible grace, pausing to sway in time with the music before slowly slipping the straps of her dress from her shoulders. Piece by piece, her dress cascaded to the floor, revealing the mesmerizing beauty of her form. I stood, spellbound as she approached, her touch gentle and deliberate. Her fingers played at my belt buckle, a dance of anticipation, before she smoothly unfastened it. My pants followed, quickly joined by my shirt, leaving me exposed to her lingering gaze. With deliberate care, she eased my boxers down, and I felt an undeniable connection as we stood bare before one another. Jeanette's eyes met mine with a sense of longing and trust, and our souls seemed to speak without words. Lifting her effortlessly, I carried her to the bed, where we surrendered to the moment. Our lips met in a passionate embrace, each kiss a tender promise. As she guided me inside her, our bodies moved in perfect harmony to the music's gentle beat, a dance as old as time itself. Her soft moans mingled with my whispered words, creating a symphony of intimacy. As Jeanette's breaths quickened and her grip tightened, we reached the pinnacle together, lost in a cascade of sensation. Her voice, breathless and sincere, was the crescendo. Right there. Keep it right there. In that moment, we found not just pleasure, but a deeper connection that bounded us in ecstasy. Lost in our love-making, we made love all night as I whispered sweet nothings in her ear. I can feel her wetness dripping down me. She reaches ecstasy multiple times through the night. And then we fell asleep with me still inside of her. Stay tuned for Chapter 4 to watch the next chapter. Hit that like button. In this moment, the story takes a pause, inviting you to stay tuned for what comes next. As dawn approaches, our story intertwines with the promise of a new day filled with further adventures and discovery.